Afternoon, everybody. This is part 2 of N6704. I am making the top. We left off where we were going to sew the neckline together, the two together. So I have to sew mine. I got a little busy this morning and went to Hobby Lobby because they had clearanced New Look patterns down to 99 cents. So I bought 68 of them. So we will be sewing a lot. All right, let me show you where we ended off. Right here. And it's the two pieces, and you're going to sew 5/8. And you want to leave the notch edge opened. So let me get this sewn up, and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that done, come back and make your dots on your number 5. There's a couple spots here. So right in there. Okay, now you're going to trim this part 3/8, the one that you sewed. I'm trying to find my pinking shears. I keep losing them. Okay, I'm going to use my pinking shears. And then we're going to turn this right side, and we're going to press this. So just trim that up like this. And I did buy, for my pants, my material. Okay, let me hang these up so I know where they are. Okay, so turn this, get your little tool if you have it for your corners. And poke out your corners. And then we're going to press this. And kind of do that roll again to get this nice and straight, like that. Like I said before, I use this, but this has the rounded end on it. So that way, I can be sure that I'm getting a really nice edge. This is Clover. It's made by Clover. And it wasn't that expensive. Okay, now we're going to gather our shirt and place our neck down. Now the interfacing side is going on the side at the top of your neck. So once we turn it, we'll be able to sew down this stitch. So I'm going to gather, here's my other notch. So I'm going to start gathering. I'll get those 2 points done, and then I'll start working on my other points. I have to find my string. Oh, that's not it. Probably that one. Okay, keep gathering. I don't want to pull too hard because these just snap so easy. These little gathering seams. All right, let me get this gathered. Okay, this is now where I can start taking some of my gathering out. Get my pin out. You're going to, I keep losing my stuff. Where is it? Okay, anyways, I'll find it, but you're going, oh, it's right here. Your next place where you're going to place a pin is right on the corner. Let me get you down here a little. Here's my dot. And my dot was right here, I remember. And that's going to be even right here. So I'm going to pin there, and then I'm going to pin on my other side. See, once we sew this up, this is going to come down like this. And we'll have our collar on. Okay. There's my dots. Get this even. Okay, now play with your gathering to make everything fit. And I'll be right back. Okay, I got one side done. You want this part flat. You know, this side will be gathering. So then I come and I work on my other side, which won't be too bad. And you know right where this seam is, there's not going to be gathering. That's essentially, that's where the dot is, and it's straight. But just be sure you get everything even, especially right in here. You want these even. Because that is the collar. So I said, you have to kind of play around with it a little. And get those edges all the way up. Okay, once you get this done, you're gonna sew a 5/8 seam. And I just kind of look and turn it over to be sure that, you know, I'm even right there. And I'll turn it over here and be sure I'm going to be even. I might be just like a spot over. Okay, there we go. Ouch. kind of just stretch like this. Okay, and then I'm happy with that. I might just take a little over gathering over there. Okay, so when you're happy with that, you're going to sew 5/8 seam all the way around. And then we'll come back and press this upwards and bring our folded end down. And then we have to stitch along here. So let me get this done. Be sure you kind of put your hand, I've shown you before, underneath, and be sure everything is straight over on this side, so you'll be able to feel it. Okay, once we get this done, we can trim a little. Usually I don't because it's not that thick. And we're going to bring up or pull this down, this neck part, and press it and pin it. And then we're going to come and sew over here. And that looks pretty good. It is a gathered shirt all around. Don't worry, we're getting to the side seams. That's a little bit down the line. So we're gonna get this done. So we'll have that. So let's go over to the ironing board. Get some of this stuff out of the way so we don't. Okay, they say to layer stitch it, so we can do that. So just move this part of the collar out of the way, and right here, you're gonna just stitch this, or cut it down a little. I'm not gonna use my pinking shears for that. I'm just gonna use my regular scissors. So just this piece right here, don't get anything else. So just keep trimming that down. Then we're going to press the seam upwards. Okay, then press your seam upwards. I'm just going to cut a little piece of my string off. I usually, if my gathering strings don't show, I leave them in. All right. So just press these seams up. And then we'll iron this down and pin it. Then I'll come to this end of my ironing board, and I know those are up. I'll feel them. And I'll press this Be sure I got it as even as I can. And I'll pin it. Now with a neck like this, because there's so much curve in it, I usually use my webbing tape after I get it pinned, and I'll come back and I'll put some of my webbing tape down just in a couple spots, just so I know this is staying flat and down. So get this done and I'll be right back. Okay, when you get that pinned up, if you do have any of this webbing, it really does help, especially down in here, to keep your collar flat. So let me do that. So I'm just gonna put it like through my ironing board right here. And then I'm going to take a little and place it here and iron this down. That way it'll keep this down. So let me get my iron over here so I'm not constantly going in front of the camera. So I just take out my pin, and I'm sure everything's where it needs to be. You just take a little piece, and you kind of place it on the ruffle part, and then bring your material back down. I just want to be sure that's not, okay. And then just press it for a few seconds. A little bit more. Iron's hot. I just need a little bit more. Didn't get it right up there. Here. Okay, and you can see how that's holding that shut. And then I'll just put my pin back in. So I'll just go around and do this like a little here, you know, just all around, just to kind of keep this down. You hear one of my birds is going off. Okay, once you have that done, come back to your sewing machine. They want you to pin on the outside. You're gonna sew, you wanna catch this little edge. So if I can kinda, you wanna sew like right there, all the way down. And that should catch your edge. It's probably like an 1/8. I guess they call it like understitching or something, but you can see how that really helps the collar. And now you have no problem sewing it or it's pulling up. So I really love that stuff. I think it's Stitch Wickery, I think. And I know I got it at Hobby Lobby. Other places carry it. It's only like $2.29 or something, and it goes a long ways. So, all right, let me get this sewn up, and then we Oh, and then we start working on the sleeves. So we're almost there. Okay, and there you go. And if you have missed a spot and you have put that stuff on, it's not going to move. All right, so let me get our sleeve section. I'm just cutting off a couple pieces of thread I saw. And we'll get started on our sleeve. Okay, I think I got them all. I think that's really gonna help that collar also stay up nice. Okay, get your sleeves. And there's 2 marks. There are dots. There's a small one and a large one. And mark this on both sleeves. And what we need to do is stitch right in here. And then we're going to trim this. Let me get my right way in my sleeve here. Okay. All right. And right here. Oh, my pin's running out. Yep. It's all right. Oh, here's another one. There we go. Okay, come back to your sewing machine. And let me grab the paper so I can explain it to you better. Okay, so you guys can see this, probably not, but to reinforce the lower edge of the sleeve, use a fine stitch. So just make your stitches a little bit smaller and stitch along seam line for 1 inch on each side of the small and large dot, stitching through each dot. So go 1 inch that way and 1 inch that way and all the way through this piece right here. And then clip seam allowance to stitching at small and large dots, being careful not to clip into stitching. So then you're going to trim right in here. And then you're going to press under seam allowance along stitching between the small and large dot. So you're just going to press that and tuck under the raw edge to meet the crease and press. Stitch close to inner pressed edge. Okay, so right here. Alrighty, I'll be right back. Okay, so what I did is where my dots are, I took my little ruler and I went from my dot up 1 inch. And then I came to my next dot and did 1 inch down and just marked it. And it is 5/8. And just sew to your next line here. And I just sewed it twice just for reinforcement. Okay, now you're gonna clip in between these two dots, but don't go to your stitch. Let's kind of just get it out of there for a bit. Okay, let me see, where's my other side here? Okay, I gotta find my dot. There it is. And this has black dots on it. Oh, right there, okay. This pattern, so I get messed up. Okay. Okay, we're gonna press under the seam. So it's gonna be pressed this way, wrong side. Here's the wrong side of your material. You're gonna press that up, just like that. So do that on both. Then come back to your sewing machine and you're gonna sew, stitch close to this folded edge right here. You're just gonna sew right there. Get your sleeve, and we have to make some more marks. Okay. Okay, there's over here. And then there's one here, and one here, and one here. Now I'm gonna mark both the sides of my material, just so I know, because this has little dots, brown dots, and I don't want to get confused. So get your other sleeve and do the exact same thing. Okay, now we're going to get our shirt. And we're going to pin this to the armhole. And that small middle dot, there's a center and then the shoulder seams. And then matching up your dots. And then we're going to stitch. And then it says stitch again 1/8 from first stitching and trim seam below notches. And press seams towards the sleeve. So get your shirt. Hope this isn't going to be too big because I really like it. Oh well. Okay, the middle dot is the center, which is right here. I just went and put lines up because I couldn't tell where my dots were. So you're going to pin that, and that is right at the shoulder seam. Now just check where you sewed your sleeve. Be sure you don't have any creases in there. That one looks good. All right, I'm gonna sew my other one on. Well, I might sew let me sew that 1/8 and trim it, and then I'll sew the other one. I'm just gonna use my pinking shears for around here. So just where you did that 1/8, I'm just gonna go above that. Okay, right in here. And I'm just gonna just cut just a little along here with my pinking shears right before that 1/8 stitch. And just be sure everything is out of your way. Everything's flat. You don't want to cut your shirt. I'm just taking a little off. Okay, I will get to my next sleeve and do the same thing, and I will return. Okay, I'm back. I had to make supper. Now we're going to stitch the front to the back and the entire underarm seam. So just match your notches and all. Okay. Oops, that's my sleeve. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Turn it this way. Yes. Okay. So match your notches in your seams, and we're going to sew up here. Sew everything up here and down here. And then after we do the 5/8, we're going to come back and do between the notches just to reinforce it. I didn't realize the camera was down. So just match your notches, your seams, and we'll get this side done. And then we're going to have to gather the edge of the sleeves. So let me get this done, and I'll be back. Okay, now we're going to make the cuffs. It's almost how we did the front. We still have our loops somewhere. I gotta find them. And it's essentially the same thing. So get your piece of 7, and you have to apply interfacing to 2 of them. And then you have to baste the loop over the small dot along that seam line that we had made. So let me get that done. I gotta find my, no, that's not, I gotta find my loops wherever I put them last night, and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so you need 2 of your cuff and 2 of interfacing. I thought I cut my interfacing. Apparently I didn't. So I'm gonna go and cut that. For the interfacing that I'm using is Pellon 880F. So that's the interfacing I've been using for my shirts. Okay, apply your interfacing, and there's a couple dots we have to make. Okay, after you have this 5/8 turned up, you're going to lay your facing right sides with this. And then from the edge of here, where it's turned, you're going to sew up 5/8, come across, and 5/8. And the same here, all across. And then we're going to open this up. Okay, I'm going to sew all this up all along. This is going to be single right here. So from here all the way up, all the way down, and back over at 5/8. And do that on both of them. Be sure you back stitch up near these double where you folded. I guess we're just stitching across here, not up the sides. All right. So I think I got mine pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch. I wish that corner would just pop out just a little bit more, but okay, let me go stitch this up, and then we're going to actually pin these to the sleeve. Now get your shirt, and this is going to be too big. I'm going to have to take it in. Oh, well. Find your notch first. Remember, we have to gather these. I got to find my gathering thread. I think it's right there. But find your notch first. Mine's right there. And pin, you're going to be putting this side against the shirt. And pin your notch. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, Lordy. I keep losing this. All right. It's right around here somewhere. Okay, after you get that stitched, right sides together, you're going to pin your cuff. Find your notch first, and then you'll know where to gather to. Okay, I got to find my gathering. And then you're going to gather this piece right to here. Oops, sorry, right to here, where your little indent is. And then it'll come out like that. So let me get this gathered, and then your other side gather, and it's going to come to the big dot. So it's going to be like this. Okay, let me get this gathered up if I can find my strings. And there we go. And we'll get this going. Once you have that side done, find your other gathering and start gathering all the way, and then you can get it just right in there for the next dot. Okay, get it pretty gathered up. And then just pin that. And then you can just start working this to fit your cuff. Then after you got it pinned, just open it up to be sure that it doesn't, that it, you know, looks even. Put my arm, yeah, that's gonna be good. All right. All right, get your other one pinned. When you sew this, be sure you're not getting any of the stuff with the interfacing on it. You don't want to grab that by mistake. Okay, I'm almost there. And, oh, get my string again. Okay. So sew this up 5/8. Take your time. There's a lot of bulkiness, so take your time with it. And that's the same thing I do like I do with the neck. I kind of just pull it to be sure everything is straight. Okay. Your back, so these should be kind of like at your side. Let's see if we got those right before we sew them. Okay, yep. Okay, so sew that up, and I'm gonna sew mine up in a minute. I'm gonna get a fresh cup of coffee, and while I'm doing that, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. The channel's growing, and like I said, today I went to Hobby Lobby and 99-cent patterns. So we have a lot of sewing to do. So I would really hope that you will subscribe to the channel, and I'll be right back. Be sure you back stitch at each end right here. Okay, I got one done. So then I'm just gonna trim some of this. And the seam is gonna go up, and then we're gonna sew this down, almost like sewing in the ditch. But I'm also gonna use my my tape, my heat tape stuff, just because this is so gathered. I want to be sure it stays there. But this is what it'll look like. Okay, let me get my other one done. And I'll be right back. Okay, and then just check your sleeves to be sure you didn't catch anything on the outside that you don't like. Oh, that all looks good. Yeah. Okay, that all looks good. All right, now I'm gonna just trim a little. Well, I don't think I really have to. It's not that bulky. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go over to my iron and get my heat tape stuff. I'm just clipping off some threads here. Okay. That's where I put that. Okay. Alrighty. These, I got so much threads. Okay, go over to the iron with your heat tape. And if you don't have that, you're gonna iron it. Press this seam up into the sleeve, into the cuff. And then we're gonna sew in the ditch. Okay, so let me get my tape. Once we get done with this, we just have to hem and sew on our buttons. So let me get you back here. And I'll just be pulling out threads here and there. Get that stuck in there good. Okay. And like I said, just take a little piece of the tape. Don't need a lot, like that much. Place it right where the gathering is. Bring your cuff up and then press down. And see that? I held that real good right there. So keep doing that on both of them. And then sew in the ditch, or sew as close as you can so you're catching this piece. And if you take a pin and put it right on the edge of that, I'm almost at the ditch. So I'll probably just sew up like 1/8 of an inch right along here. Okay, let me finish this up. Okay, now we just need to hem. It's a narrow hem. And then you have to sew on your buttons. I gotta see if I have any. Just go around and turn under like a quarter all the way around, and then come back, turn it again and clip. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, there it is. I have to sew on my buttons, but everybody knows how to do that, so, but, that's what it looks like. If it is too big for any of you, what you can do is like maybe a couple inches away from your cuff, you can sew that main seam all the way down again. Maybe like 1 inch, 1.5 inches on each side, and it will draw it in, and it will probably fit better. So tomorrow we have the pants that go along with the shirt I was making. So I'm going to try to make the pants tomorrow. I'm kind of debating what size I need. The smallest is 8, so I'll probably have to do that. The smallest is 8, so, but, so we're gonna do this tomorrow, and then we'll have a nice outfit. Okay, thank you for spending your time with me tonight. Thank you also for the prayers for my husband. It means a lot to me, and we're gonna get through this. It's a long road, but we're gonna get through it. I know we will. So, but I really appreciate the prayers, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, share to your friends, and maybe you can start a little sewing club or something, and, you know, have a girls' night out at the sewing machine. And I drink coffee, but maybe wine if y'all like that. You know, just everybody needs to start getting together. This country it's so bad right now. We all need to be friends, and we all need to be helping each other. So, with that said, you all have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.